All right, hello and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel, and today I've got a bunch of Bitcoin news to share with you. A little bit about liquidity because the story continues to be one of liquidity. Then I want to go into the charts because I haven't really covered the charts in a little while. I want to show you the closes. There's some very interesting developments. There are a couple of points where I'm thinking, do I really know what's going on here, or is something about to change drastically? So I want to show you that. I want to make sure we're clear heading into this week about what to expect. I want to make sure, as always, we are open to all possible outcomes. And then, as always, I'll say goodbye and leave you with a couple of memes. So in the meantime, sit back, relax, hit that like button, and let's get into this. Mexican senators are currently meeting to discuss how Mexico can adopt Bitcoin. Mexico, for a while, has been lining up to likely be the next to adopt the Bitcoin standard, following in the footsteps of El Salvador. And believe me, once this begins to advance, it will not be ignored by other nations. The mempool for Bitcoin looks like Grand Central Terminal, with every seat on this train taken. If you want a ticket, it's going to cost you plenty. There's a very realistic chance of Bitcoin going much higher in the next 2 months. And you can see here the dotted blue line being the Metcalfe plus mempool model. It's reasonable to expect the price of Bitcoin to follow suit. Bob Lucas, the king of cycles, comes out and says, here's Bitcoin on a monthly time frame. Just imagine still being bearish. And you can see here, we have predictably made a 4-year cycle low and are now working on closing the 4th green monthly candle thereafter. You can see this Bresser indicator that Bob likes to use as well does not speak to a top coming in anytime soon, despite that being the consensus out there that we're about to experience a half cycle top. As always, open to anything, but as it stands, long and strong, continue to push. We also just had news. It's now officially been confirmed that Batan has been mining Bitcoin since it was priced at $5,000. It begs the question, doesn't it? Just how many other countries, nations are quietly amassing hash rate, quietly stacking Bitcoin as game theory continues to play out? The numbers speak for themselves. Bitcoin up 143% since August 10th, 2020, when MicroStrategy adopted its Bitcoin accumulation strategy. As you can see, it has smoked every other asset class, and as I always say on this channel, it will continue to smoke every other asset class. PayPal has announced that Venmo users can now finally withdraw their Bitcoin to external wallets as of next month. So this means now if you're using PayPal or Venmo to buy Bitcoin and crypto, you can actually own it. Not your keys, not your coins. I know I don't need to tell you any more than that. Over in the traditional finance world, the bears continue to stick to their bias. Here is a very good example. As one of the most convicted bears on FinTwit, and now being down over 30% year to date, I will tell you this. I may have been early, but I'm not wrong. Well, let me tell you, it's the same thing. In trading and investing, your timing is everything. Being down 30% year to date and trying to cling to this narrative that actually you're still not wrong, this is ludicrous, but it's something that markets thrive on. There is still a wall of worry to climb. There are still a whole heap of very convicted bears that need to capitulate to the upside. We continue to see banks collapse, and make no mistake about it, they will bail the banks out. Whether this is directly or indirectly, it's the same outcome. The Fed balance sheet will rocket higher, so will tech stocks and Bitcoin. Continuing on with this theme, Kush here nails it. He says, look, if you pulled some of the easiest technical analysis bullish setups and combine them into a chart, what would you be looking at? Bitcoin, an altcoin, NASDAQ? Well, the answer is global liquidity is on the cusp of breaking out to new all-time highs. This continues to be a story of liquidity. You can see this here. This is global liquidity about to break out, retest, and resume to the upside. That's not to say they couldn't pull some QT, start tapering the balance sheet again, and we couldn't see this plummet. If that is the case, we will have to pivot our stance and be prepared for all outcomes. But as it stands right now, does this look like they are planning on stopping printing anytime soon? Of course not. And just before we get into the charts, I've got another fantastic one here from Kush. S&P on a monthly. You can see here, this looks like we have never stopped being in a bull market, despite having the large drawdown of 2022. You can see this look here looks nothing like the crash here. It looks nothing like the crash here at all. Things can change and they can change quickly, but they haven't changed yet. Hopping into the charts here, so we can start off with the dollar. The dollar, as you can see, still hasn't lost this key level here, has it? All the while, we're above the lows and below these recent highs. Then I think we can just say we're range bound, right? We need a break above these local highs for me to say, okay, we've got some dollar rallying. We've got risk likely coming off in the short term. And similarly, we need to lose these lows if we're going to start to see a true melt up unfold. Speaking of the melt up, I proposed this structure, as I'm sure long-time viewers of the channel know, all the way back in summer of last year. Since then, there have been times when it looked genius. There have been times when it looked absurd. Right now, about to break out above these highs and starting to validate what I believe will be the final blow off top before we then have this giant bear market that everyone has been calling for. The S&P in the short term is behaving slightly unusually, in my opinion. We had this breakdown of this upward sloping yellow line, and you can see this could well be breakdown, retest, looking for that resumption lower. That would certainly be what the cycle low is telling me to expect. But where it starts to get a bit confusing for me is we've had what looks to be, in my opinion, a very early cycle low. Now, it's way too early to go calling this a cycle low because this is only something like day 33. So we're not anywhere near the timing window of the 40-day cycle for the S&P 500, which tells me we should be open to seeing a pullback and a drop down into that cycle low around the 9th of May before resuming higher. However, the hallmark of a new cycle is a swing low pattern, which we undeniably have here, followed by taking out the prior local high, which as of the Friday's close, we are just about to do. So there's some mixed signals coming from the S&P 500. I remain out of this market looking for further downside into a cycle low before then re-entering to the long side. But if this is going to break out, particularly above this local high back here, if we're going to break out above that, then we just have to respect, or at least I do, that we've probably got a new cycle in play, that this probably was forced super early, and that means that we're likely going to be going into full bore bullish look. Once price takes out this high and starts to target this high, where is your bearish narrative at that point? Bears will be forced to capitulate. So in summary, for me personally, waiting one day at a time to see what can happen, open to seeing a pull down into this cycle low, but also open to having to put long exposure back on as we break above these local highs set back here. You can see the NASDAQ, it's made its structural repair from the technical bear market low. It's then made a second repair. We've then had what seems to be a breakout retest with a bear trap and now resuming upwards off this local high back here. So to me, this is undeniably bullish. I, of course, still have my long position, so I'm still happy to continue to push this trade. We'll see what happens. If the S&P 500 is going to form a cycle low, then I would expect the NASDAQ and the Dow to both pull back into around that 9th of May timeframe before then resuming higher. So I don't think this is the time to be jumping in here and going max leverage to the long side. But obviously, in my personal situation, I'm not too worried since I already have a very good entry from down here. The Dow Jones as well, undeniably, breakout. We've had a bull flag with a small bear trap, and now we seem to be resuming to the upside. So some level of consolidation or rejection in this blue box would be perfectly reasonable, but get above here, and I just don't see the bearish narrative anymore. I really, truly believe we're going to be validating this melt up. You can see this green squiggle here on the VIX that I drew. I said in the worst case scenario, we're likely going to see this followed by a rollover. But as you can see, it's even more bullish than that. I was in this camp of people that said, I don't believe we're going to see a big VIX spike. I've been saying this all week. I also said in hindsight, if we were to do something like that, it would have been super, super obvious. And whilst everyone on Twitter was calling for a giant VIX spike, instead, look what we've had. We've barely even made it to 20 before then making new lows all inside of a week. This to me does not speak to a stock market crash. It does not speak to a volatility event. Things can change and they can change quickly, but as it stands, I believe we are going to be making our way down to the low teens whilst we experience the completion of this melt up and blow off top in risk assets. Whilst we're in stocks, you can see Apple continuing to hold support, continuing to set new highs. So not much more to say about that. I think we've got an earnings coming up next week. I don't really pay attention to earnings. I won't be reading them. What I will be doing is monitoring the technicals, lose this upward sloping blue support line, and I'll be closing my longs and looking to see what the market does from there. Nike is kind of lagging, kind of sideways, slight profit from our entry. I guess what we'll see is Nike make a decision in the near future. We lose this upward sloping blue support line and I'll be out of my position. But all the while we're above this, I expect it to continue to do Nike things. Got a trade idea, a new position possibly coming from me. IPX, this is a UK traded stock. If this thing can break out, then this could well be a long and it would look something like what I've got shown here. That's just an idea for you. Gold still holding a short, still open to seeing a drop down into this cycle low. And perhaps we could get that as the dollar gets one final push up. So if the Dixie can do something like this before then rolling over and breaking down, I think that would force the cycle low in gold. So hopefully this is what we can see. Otherwise, we're likely going to find a timing based cycle low and then emerge to the upside. And I will have to close this I have to close this short on gold and start to look for longs, perhaps at a breakout above the prior all-time highs. As you can see, I've got marked in this blue box right here. Still got a senior miners position open right around break even. So if gold is going to stop me out, or I'm going to have to flip to the long side for the gold short, then hopefully this will resolve to the upside and we'll still walk away with some profit. Junior miners position did get stopped out, and so did the SILJ position. So we've got some catching up to do there. We'll see what we can do. We've still got a silver position, which is right around break even, as you can see. So again, if gold is going to rally, silver's likely going to pop out of here. If not, The cycles tell me it's not. The cycles tell me we are going to form that cycle low for gold. As I said, we're going to have this flush down before we can go. Then we might have to end up near break even and pay some stops in the meantime. But as always, I will show you 100% of my trades, win, loss, draw. I will show you all my mistakes as I attempt to uphold the highest possible standard of YouTube traders on the platform. Here's Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's still doing Bitcoin things, isn't it? Undeniably, it's recovered this. And as it stands, it's also repaired this. So doesn't speak just yet, in my opinion, to a massive spike upwards, but still pushing this long. The cycle low, due around the 9th of May, tells me that we should be at least open to seeing a final drop down before we can resume higher. However, there's nothing to say structurally that this couldn't end up popping up here and then forming that 9th of May cycle low higher up. Then I've got it marked here. This would be the worst case scenario. We can come all the way down to this red line and still maintain bullish structure. A lot of people are calling for a retest of the 25k level, so maybe that's where it will form. Or maybe because this trade is crowded, Bitcoin's just going to do Bitcoin things and continue to work its way up before finding a cycle low higher up. Anyway, I'm open to all outcomes, still got my long, still long and strong, and I continue to push. Lastly, the crypto-related equities. So here's Coinbase. I have been stopped out, as you can see here, just about wicked, so we don't need this position anymore. Coinbase probably got some legal hurdles to jump through since it's being sued by the SEC and also is trying to sue the SEC. If, however, we form a nice clean cycle low for Bitcoin, I will think about adding a position back here depending on the structure of the market. But as of right now, I'm out of this position. MicroStrategy, on the other hand, continues to look okay, doesn't it? So we've got a bit of conflicting information because we've got breakdown, retest, possible resumption off of this upward sloping blue support line. However, we also have, we also have a breakout, possible bear trap and recovery of the top of this range breakout. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. But now, as you can see, long and strong continue to push. Here's Marathon. Marathon, same sort of deal, isn't it? We had a hard retest, a breakout, a hard retest, meaning we came back below the range breakout and have since recovered. So if we can continue to trend up, happy days. If not, we might have to be open to one final flush into that cycle low for Bitcoin before we can resume higher. Finally, here's Riot for you. So same sort of deal, isn't it? Breakout of the horizontal range, a hard retest, meaning we undercut it, and now we're back above and we're above this upward sloping blue support line. So for me, technically speaking, no reason not to continue to push this trade. I am long, I'm strong, and I continue to push. If, however, we do get a rollover into that 9th of May cycle low, I will be looking to add exposure wherever it forms. Hopefully, to be honest, we'll come down quite deep and then we'll get a nice swing out of here because that will be a really nice opportunity to add at. So that's the analysis. I hope you're doing well in life. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. I hope you're looking forward to Monday as much as I am. And in the meantime, take care from me. All the best. Cheers. Bye.
There is no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's...
お前はもう死んでいる。